Let's talk about why your organization might be considering accessibility. We know that accessibility will help you create a better product and experience for all your customers. This alone is reason enough to build it into your practices. But wait, there's more. The Web Accessibility Initiative identifies 4 other key business drivers for engaging in accessibility. These are extending your market reach, enhancing your reputation, decreasing your legal risk, and driving innovation. Let's start with market reach. Many businesses overlook accessibility, thinking it has nothing to do with their customer base, and they're almost always wrong. A World Health Organization report suggests that around 15% of people globally, that's 1 billion people, experience disability. The real number may even be higher. But this is only the beginning. According to the UN, there are around 700 million seniors in the world. This is another body of people who greatly benefit from features such as resizable text, increased contrast, captions, and mobility aids, among many others. Around half of all seniors have a disability and have been accounted for, so we'll add another 5%. That takes us to 1/5 of people globally who benefit from accessibility. Let's keep going. If every person we've already mentioned has just one friend, one family member, or one carer who considers their needs, we've already doubled the amount of people who look for accessibility in products or services. And there's another big one. 43% of the planet is bilingual and may benefit from features such as plain language and captioning. Adding those we haven't already accounted for, and we've hit 2/3 of the planet who might benefit from accessibility. Does that sound like a lot? In fact, we're pretty close. The Return on Disability Group estimates that between people with disability, their networks, and people who benefit from accessibility in other ways, accessibility affects 73% of all consumers. So, what is the value of all those customers? Well, according to the Return on Disability 2020 report, the annual figure for global disposable income of the disability market was $13 trillion. That is a potential global market larger than China and the US combined. Tapping into this massive market will in turn enhance your brand identity and reputation, which brings us to driver number 2. Big names in tech like Apple, Google, and Microsoft have developed strong reputations for developing and delivering accessible products. Other companies like Barclays, Tesco, or the This American Life podcast made a name for themselves by supporting accessible access to their services. Engaging with the huge networks of people who want accessibility can create loyal customers and brand ambassadors, and protect you from brand damage. Did you know that people with disability are twice as likely to persuade others to avoid an organization due to unmet needs or discrimination? Digital accessibility can even make your brand more visible. Good digital accessibility practice actually overlaps with good SEO practice. Things like alternative text content, clear headings and structure, and multiple navigation tools can all make your digital content both accessible and searchable. Beyond damage to reputation, when a business doesn't consider accessibility, they also face a very real legal risk. This is driver number 3. In 2001, the Sydney Olympics were successfully sued by a blind plaintiff who could not use their website. In 2008, Target settled for $6 million in damages due to a class action lawsuit against the accessibility of their website. And in 2021, a 5-year-long lawsuit found Domino's had violated the law with their website's lack of accessibility. These are just a few examples, but there are many more. The fact is, businesses have a legal imperative to provide accessibility for their customers. Most countries have their own legislation that protects the rights of people with disability. Local legislation assists countries to meet their obligations to the UN. Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States are all signatories to the UN Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, and all except the United States have ratified it. Digital accessibility obligations under this convention are covered under Article 9, the right to accessibility, and Article 21, the right to access to information. When we design experiences that are usable by all, we don't just honor our obligations under these laws, we afford dignity to all our customers. Finally, the 4th reason accessibility is good for business: innovation. Diverse design has a long history of driving market innovation and success, and you're most likely benefiting from it. Earlier, we mentioned that companies like Apple, Google, and Microsoft invest heavily in accessibility. tools you may use on your personal devices like autocomplete, dark mode, and voice control all began as accessibility initiatives. These are examples of what we call the access ramp analogy. A ramp may have first been put in front of a building to allow access for wheelchair users, but ramps are also helpful for those with prams, heavy deliveries, shopping trolleys, and bikes. Not only did this one innovation find users in unexpected places, but it in turn can drive the creation of new ideas. If you've ever taken a large suitcase on holiday, you have ramps to thank for making the experience a little less difficult. Once ramps were common, companies saw a market to be had in wheeled luggage designs. Examples of this are all around us. Electric toothbrushes, typewriters, and audiobooks were all designed as assistive technology for people with disability before becoming commonly used items. This might be why one study found accessibility to be a common practice in Fortune 100 companies. Ultimately, accessible design is simply good design. Intopia.